Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekal Kadash, giving double honor to the apostle of this great millstone. Peace and blessings to those pushing his truth and sincerity and abide above. All right, so brother in the apostle Kadash, continuing to the lesson. This time talking about Israelite foreigners, right? Because you got a lot of Israelite foreigners. You got certain camps teaching that only so-called Negroes is Israelites. Well, what about the Latinos? What about the Native and Seminole Indians? Right? What about the Israelite foreigners? Then you got some. You can go into the Old Testament, or you can go into Yahweh Shai time period, I'll say, and which is the New Testament, and you can go into how the Jews, the real Jews, the Hebrew Israelites, the so-called black ones. Right, they was basically like not dealing with Israelite foreigners, even though they were still of that bloodline. Like Paul, he was of that bloodline. He spoke Hebrew, but they didn't know that, because when Paul spoke Hebrews, I believe in like Acts 28, somewhere in those later chapters of Acts, when he spoke Hebrew, everybody just stopped talking and listened, because they was like, hold on, he can speak Hebrew. They wasn't acknowledging him as a Jew at first or as an Israelite, but the whole time he was. All right. This is 1 Samuel 16:7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. All right, the word countenance and being sight, appearance, or what is seen, because that's what man do. They look on the outward appearance. All right, they did that to Yahweh Shai. He didn't look like a king, or he didn't look rich, so they didn't think he was a king. Guess what? Do the same thing with people, everybody. If you don't look like an Israelite, they want to treat you like a heathen off the rip. But whole time, you got fucking Israelites that look like Moabites. You got Israelites that look like Japanese people. You got Israelites that look like fucking so-called Muslims. You got Israelites that look like so-called white people. Everything, we scattered. All right, every Israelite not gonna have an afro, brown eyes, brown skin, and fucking 6'2", and like everybody not gonna look like that. All Israelites don't even look like that. What the fuck? All right. This is, but the thing is, the Lord know who all the Israelites are. He got them numbered. He do. We don't, but he do. All right. So that's why you can't be just quick to, oh, you fucking Edomite. You just being quick to anger. He just, somebody look like an Edomite, he's gonna turn up on the whole time. He under the curses too. Niggas a Jake. Now you gotta now when you do shit like that, you really in the way of judgment. Like, you real close to judgment, because whole time you think you cussing out an Edomite because he been oppressing you, and then that's an Israelite who under the curses just like you. Scriptures say, love thy brother as thyself. You know, we ain't supposed to just be dogging other Israelites out. See, now you gonna plead the case of, well, I didn't know, but guess what? You didn't try to know. So there's a lot of judgment that come behind that itself. All right. This is Leviticus 26:33. And I will scatter ye among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Desolate is deserted of people. Our land was deserted. Nobody lived there for a very long time. All right, whether the Palestinians moved in, or the so-called Jews, which is really Amalekites, the so-called 13th tribe, you know, but that land was deserted. So if we go live amongst the heathens, what's going to happen? If you know Israelite man like I do, you're going to pop the women. And after a certain amount of generations, all right, they going, the children going to look like heathens. After, you know, and it's an example of that in Australia, where they try to get rid of the dark-skinned people. So what they did was, they didn't necessarily enslave them, but they kind of like did the same thing they did to Gab. They took the dark-skinned Aboriginals in Australia, and they pushed them into the society of white people, knowing that this dark-skinned man or dark-skinned woman was 9 times out of 10 going to have a baby with a white person. And then the next generation. So eventually they would just be, their characteristics would be wiped out. Now, that didn't happen to us. Our characteristics weren't wiped out, but you have many Israelites who don't even resemble, you know, physically looking like an Israelite to the eye. They don't have the woolly hair. They don't have the brown, black eyes. They don't have the large nose. Or they don't have big lips. They don't have brown skin. They don't have those certain facial features that are dominant amongst Israelites. And if you know, everybody didn't go to school, but you had classes, biology, I believe was one, where it went into phenotypes and genotypes. Your phenotypes is your physical characteristics that you could see. And it would show you on the chart, you have the XY and the XX chart. And it would show you your mom genes, your dad genes, and you would have 25% chance to get this gene. But if it keep on going and going and going, right, you get down to zero, especially because you got recessive traits like red hair. A lot of Edomite traits are recessive. But if you keep putting a recessive trait over dominant traits over generations, it will start to pop up. Then eventually it'll just keep on popping up because you kind of beating the genes into a person. And that's kind of what happened with these Israelite foreigners, right? And even on the screen here, what I got is a black, a so-called black, I forget what I looked up. A black Greek. All right, so he probably didn't even look like a Jake to them back then. He probably had all type of Greek customs lined up, all that, you know. This is Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them. They shall cleave to the house of Jacob. The strangers talking about Israelite foreigners. It's not talking about no heathen. The heathens are not coming into the land of Israel and living with us. They're not in the kingdom of heaven. They're not coming into the land of Israel. They're not going to be able to buy no house in the land of Israel. And we're not going to be neighbors with Moabites and Edom. No, that's not happening. That's a holy land. It ultimately never was it was never planned to be like that. Where you had Samaria with all the heathens in there. That wasn't the I mean, all things obey the Lord's will, but that wasn't the plan, was to be living shoulder. This ain't no Greek captivity where we all want to be one society. No, we're just the land of Israel, where it's under the Mosaic laws, and it's under really officially under just the Bible itself. But we under the law in the land, in most time periods right now, we're under grace, but we follow the law, so we're not going to be buddy with heathens all like that. All right. I'm gonna pull out one more, probably. Yeah, one more. It says, 1 Corinthians 12:2, ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto thee dumb idols, even as ye were led. He said, ye know that ye were Gentiles. Now, explain this to me. How can someone go from being a Gentile to an Israelite? Because you can't, you can't drain all the blood out of your body and put Israelite blood in you and say, oh yeah, I'm Israelite now. You can't go tanning for 3 weeks straight, get dark skin, and go, oh yeah, I'm an Israelite now. It doesn't work that way. It goes back to your bloodline. You cannot choose what nation you are. I did not choose to be an Israelite. That was the Most High's ultimate will, or just his will of me being an Israelite. And the next person, whether you're a Moabite, that was the Most High's will for you to be a Moabite. If you're a fucking Edomite, that was the Most High's will for you to be an Edomite. You can't say it at your birth. You're not in the spiritual world like, this life, Lord, I want to be an Assyrian. See what that's talking about. No, it's up to your bloodline, who your father is at that. It's not your mother, it's who your father is, according to Numbers 1:18 and many other verses. That's just a quick cut to all that, right? So it goes back to your bloodline. But it literally says in this verse, 1 Corinthians 12:2, ye know that ye were Gentiles. What is that saying? We lost our customs. We lost our ways. It's not saying, oh yeah, bro, we was heathens, bro. In the past life, we was heathens. Yeah, we was praying to the corn god, bro. Yeah. No, what it's saying is, while the heathens was praying to the corn god, we indulged in it ourselves. That's them dumb idols. We indulge in heathen activity. That's why Jeremiah 10:2 will tell you, learn not the ways of the heathen. Because when you learn the ways of the heathen, then you start to become a Gentile like them. You don't become a full-fledged heathen, but you have that Gentile state of mind. And that's where you get a lot of Israelite foreigners. You got the Gentile minds, right? They look like Jake, but mentally they giving in some Greek customs and all those things. And you have those who completely look like other nations. but yet their bloodline still goes back to being what? A Israelite. All right. I hope this was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakal Kadash, giving double honor to the Apostle Elders Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to brothers pushing this truth and sincerity and a Bible bull.